Hey there, Lisa Pezik here, and welcome to another episode of the Lisa Pezik Show, where today in business, we're talking about authenticity and creativity and that balance between what I hear is someone else has already said that, someone else has already done that. Where do I fit in between that and literally what I see a lot of people doing, which is full out copying other people's intellectual property, copying their words, copying their material and their workbooks and their PDFs, and don't do that, right? So I feel like a lot of people get stuck in between, how do I come up with something that's my own? And then they're stuck with that. What if someone feels like I'm copying from them? So let's break this down. Number one, information really isn't ours. When we think about the overarching themes that we teach people, I happen to be in the content marketing industry. So I talk about podcasts and blogs and live videos. And then when I help my husband with the digital side, we talk about SEO and lead generation and chatbots and funnels and websites. And lots of people are doing it. So chances are you are not the only person in your, even if it is a very niche market, the things that you're teaching and telling people to do are probably not your own concepts. So get over that whole, this is strictly mine and no one else has ever come up with this. And yes, your spin on it is yours, but the idea is probably shared. Where the issue comes in is when you don't take your spin on it. When you literally hear it or read it or see it and then regurgitate it as your own. Now, don't get me wrong, I share quotes and frameworks and things if I find them really meaningful and impactful for me. But here's what I do, one of two things. I either ask permission to be able to share someone else's work, knowing that you are, when they say yes, you are crediting them, you are saying it's from them, you are directing people to them if they want more help. It's like my mentor, Bo Eason. When I teach about owning your story and being an expert speaker, I may share something that he taught me, and then I'm going to tell you, go back to Bo Eason if you want to get in his mastermind, read his book, do his programs, that whole bit. Give credit where credit is due. Or take the concept, take a spin on it, create your own framework, create your own teaching, your own method, your own how-to, and then go ahead and share that. That is completely acceptable. And that is really what the world does. If you've ever read the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, she talks about that. And she talks about how all these ideas are just floating around in the air. And somebody reaches up and grabs it and makes it their own. And if you don't grab it, it passes you and it goes to someone else who's going to grab it. So yes, we certainly should trademark and get patents and protect our intellectual property. Make sure you've got all your legal in check. But I'm just talking about in the day-to-day way that you help people. Either give credit where credit is due, or take your spin on it and teach it and tweak it and make it your own. You know, the other day, yesterday actually, and the day before, we did it 2 days in a row. We were making pasta as a family. And I need more joy in my life, you know? I look back at this past year and joy was the word that I picked for myself. Every year I pick a word that means something to me and I'm going to live into. In 2019, it was joy. And I look back and it's been a lot of hustle. It's been a lot of grind. It's been a lot of hard work. which has paid off immensely for me in terms of speaking gigs and big client contracts and best-selling books and so much exciting stuff. But when I look back to joy, I'm sad to say that I could maybe only pick one vacation, 1 week, and a couple of memories that we made that pop out for me that were true joy and true fun. So my husband and I decided that with our little guy, instead of putting all this pressure to take all these trips and do these big things, we were going to create more joy in our day-to-day, in literally what we do on a Saturday or Sunday, or what we do on a holiday, or what we do in our backyard, what we do in our kitchen. So my husband found this person that was selling. We were posting some stuff to sell online for ourselves. And my husband found this gentleman who was selling these pasta machines, right? The good old fashioned ones where you make the dough and you roll it and you make the noodles and the whole bit. And it was so much fun as a family, getting our hands in there and molding that dough and flattening it and turning. And we all had our own jobs and our own roles. And our little guy, he's 5, he was getting in there and he was so excited to do this and had a cute little apron that he put on. And it was just the cutest, most fun thing that we did. And it got me thinking about us in business and our creative process, and that it is really like making noodles. Your business is like a labor of love. I mean, we could have just gone to the store, bought some noodles, made some pasta, and called it spaghetti dinner, and off we go. But instead, we chose to hand make those noodles and mix it and roll it and turn it and bake it. And like all of our hands got in there. And I feel like it truly was made with love. And I want you to think about your business in that same way. Just like you could steal somebody else's concept and idea, like the pasta in a box, it still tastes good, it still works, but there isn't love in it. There isn't your perspective and your, blood, sweat, and tears kind of in that. And I find the people in business that we follow, the people in business that we pay, the people in business that we will go with and we will stay with till the ends of the earth, it's the people that put that labor of love and that blood, sweat, and tears into their business, or if they're performers, into their movies or their music or their art or whatever it is, their craft, whatever it is that they do. You see how much it matters to them. So when you take a concept that you're going to teach someone, whether it's on a stage, in a workshop, one-to-one, in a group coaching program, like how it doesn't matter how you deliver it. It's got to have your stories, your testimonials, and your like trials and tribulations with testing this thing. Or if someone else tested it for you, what their experience was with it. Like when I think about those noodles, I see my son, I get a vision or a flashback of my son wearing his cute little apron that we bought when we went to PEI and Nova Scotia, and we went on a trip. And my husband was wearing an apron that our little guy made at school. It was his Father's Day gift. And I'm seeing the dough and the flour and everything on the countertop and the noodle, the stainless steel, the noodle press, and just so many layers and pieces of that whole experience. The smell, the sight, the memory, the emotion. So much is coming up for me with just one small memory of joy. And that's the experience that you want to take your customers through. What are they seeing? What are they smelling? What are they feeling? What are they hearing? What are they thinking about? And storytelling is an excellent way to take people on that journey with you. Sharing testimonials is an excellent way to do that. Taking people through those how-to steps and busting objections as you go along hits that monkey brain. And when people's People self-sabotage themselves and they don't want to feel joy because, well, they do. Let me take that back. They do want to feel joy, but joy is one of the most vulnerable, amazing emotions you can feel because it's like a release. You literally let yourself live in that moment and enjoy. And sometimes we self-sabotage and we take ourselves out of that. And that's what your client is doing. Even though they paid you, even though they're investing in you, joy is a hard one to feel because our human emotion and our human brain is wired to be that step ahead and look out for danger. And it's really a training of our brain to be able to see that joy and not see that danger. So you've got to be taking people through that emotional experience of helping them see joy, helping them see the possibility. And if you're just regurgitating someone else's stuff, you probably never get there because there is no process for you that you've gone through to now be able to share that process with them. You see, that's what it's all about. That's truly what that connection is here's why I care about it. Here's how it's helped me. Here's how it's transformed my life. And now I want it to do the same for you, whatever product or service it is that you offer. So I want you to think about making pasta. I want you to think about whatever it is think of a memory right now that lights you up, that made you feel joy, and how many ways it hit you with all those senses, and you're in it and you feel it. And then I want you to bring that same process, that same mentality to your business and to what you're teaching people, because you're truly loving on people in your business. That's the way I see it. I think when you eat authentic food, like those noodles tasted so good. I can't even tell you. Like there was love in that for my husband, for my son, and for me. And you want your clients to feel the same. You want them to feel love in your business and you're loving on them in whatever capacity that is, whether it's an email, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's a group coaching call, however it is, you want them to feel that love. So you got to make it your own. You got to share it with others. You got to take them through the process and the journey. But the only way that happens is because you've gone through that same thing yourself. So even though I'm not a fan of perfectionism, I don't believe you should just throw it up and get it out there. I believe you got to work it. You got to test it. You got to play around with something a little bit before you put it out to others. And you got to ask others to play. And sometimes I think when I beta launch stuff, that is when I will invite others to play with me at a lower price. And I'll let them know I'm going to be loving on you. I'm working through stuff. It may be uncomfortable and gritty and messy and mucky, but it's also going to be beautiful and fun. And if you're willing to come along at this beginner ride with me, let's go ahead and create something and let's do this. And the stories you're going to get from taking people through and doing that is something that's going to last you for your entire business. So that's the message I want to give you is don't just steal, be authentic, work it through. And that's never failed me yet. That has never failed me yet. It's not about quantity of people. It's about quality of people. And when you're authentic, the right people will follow and the right people will stay. Now, you need help with all this, figuring this all out. That's where you want to get on the strategy calls with my husband and I. We start with strategy before we ever move you into building anything. It all starts with strategy. It all starts with, what do you want? When do you want to buy? What do you want it to look like? What are you going to do with this? How is this going to impact people? What's their first step? What's their last step? What's the next right step? How should you market that? But there's so much strategy that goes into putting something out there when you want it to succeed. And that's kind of what this whole thing was about. So if you're like, yeah, I kind of get it, but I kind of don't, Or if you're like, yeah, this is the concept I want to teach, but I'm just not quite sure how I want to say it and how I want to teach it or what it should look like, then you need to get on the strategy calls. So I will put the link in the show notes here for you, or you can go right on my website, lisapezik.com, under done with you services. It's right there, meaning that we're going to do it with you. We're going to build it with you. We're going to be by your side, helping you love on this idea and then love on others with it. So as always, so thankful that you're here. So thankful that you're tuning in. I appreciate you. I want you to know that. And I'm here to serve you. I want to help you. So roadblocks, they come up. Do not waste another second trying to navigate it on your own. That's what Eric and I are here for, because the world needs you, the world needs your message, and the world needs you now. I'll see you again next time.